Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, Immingham on the up. We look at economic development in the port town. Wandering in the Wolds, I'll be talking to Nikki Jarvis about the Lincolnshire Wolds Walking Festival, and Rambling Emma Lingard will be in to tell us about her new series of Lingard's Rambles and to catch up with the weekend's local stories. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Hugh Richards. First of all, it's over to Erica Barker for the news headlines.
Hello, the headlines today. Newly elected MPs in our region have hit the ground running at Westminster as they get set for the start of a new parliamentary season. Great Grimsby's newly elected Labour MP Melanie On, Conservative MP Matt Warman from Boston and Skegness, and Conservative MP for Louth and Horncastle Victoria Atkins are setting up the offices in which they and their staff will be based. Speaking to Grimsby's Melanie On at the election, she says she can't wait to get started.
It feels amazing. I'm incredibly honoured and privileged to have been given this opportunity by the people of Grimsby, and I hope I live up to their expectations. I said in my speech that I wouldn't let them down, and that's what I hope not to do.
And what are your main priorities now you've won the seat?
Well, I said all along that I have a vision for Grimsby, and it's going to be around the renewables sector. I hope that we can use that and the growth in new jobs, that those will be good jobs, trying to reduce the number of young people who are out of employment, education or training.
East Riding of Yorkshire Council is appealing for information to help find the owners of around 20 sunken or abandoned boats along the River Hull. They're working with the Environment Agency to identify the owners in order to advise them on the next steps. While a limited amount of funding is to be made available to assist owners with removal of these vessels. Humberside police are urging the elderly not to transfer money to criminals involved in a bogus police officer scam. On the 6th and 7th of May, they received 9 calls from residents aged between 60 and 92 years old, saying they were called by someone purporting to be a police officer, with the offenders asking for card details and personal data. And a restaurant chain is closing one of its branches in Hull. Chiquito at Kingston Retail Park will be shutting on the 17th of May. The Mexican grill restaurant, owned by the restaurant group, has one other base in Hull at Kingswood Leisure Park, which is to remain open. A to let sign has appeared on the building. Well, if you have any more news stories for us, please don't hesitate to contact us on 01472 315561. You can also email us news@estuary.tv, or we are also on Facebook and Twitter at estuary.tv. Until next time, goodbye.
In recent years, Immingham has been a town on the up, with lots of investment being put into the city, into the town, regeneration and new major shops. The people of Immingham may have been disappointed by Tesco's failure to open, but with a new Aldi opening soon, optimism is high, as Dave Nunn discovers.
Exciting times are ahead for Immingham, which is receiving its new Aldi store as part of its wider regeneration, something which the Mayor of Immingham is excited to see come to fruition.
Oh, it's enormously exciting. We've waited so long, and since the talk of a supermarket, a big supermarket, is now 10-15 years. And obviously, with the start of the precinct and the redevelopment, and then because we've been messed about with Tesco, to have this new store behind us is fantastic.
In the past few months, many new shops have come to Immingham, something that business owners fear could affect their established local businesses.
What I can say is that the quality could be slightly better than the service.
Okay, do you think it'll affect? So you think it will affect?
It will affect us initially, because everybody just goes and buys everything in one go, don't they?
But enthusiasm among the residents of Immingham for the new shops and wider regeneration is unwavering.
It definitely does, yeah. Definitely needs new stores, new investment in the town, because it is a good town really, it's just the bad ones that make it bad.
Well, it's good that we've got Aldi's coming. It's good that we've got Subways coming. I just hope that they're going to do something with that building there.
Right.
Because to be quite honest, Immingham has been promised such a lot of things for such a long time that I really hope that the regeneration will come into Immingham. It's long awaited.
Well, it's nice that we've got, it's nice that everything's getting back to normal, but it's still a big miss not getting a store where we were expecting one.
You know, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I mean, Aldi's opening Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, what Sorry, Karen.
No, so we're happy. We've been here 40 odd years, seen the changes, brilliant, yeah.
The regeneration is making Immingham a town on the rise, and once the empty store is filled, another step in the wider regeneration plan will be filled.
You're watching Estuary TV News. A little later, we'll hear our weekly reflections, this time from Dr. Paul Hill, lay reader from Louth, and Dan Kemp will bring you all the sports news. I'm joined now by Nikki Jarvis, here to tell us all about the Lincolnshire Wolds Walking Festival. Nikki, thanks very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
What is the Lincolnshire Wolds Walking Festival?
It's a huge event. It takes place every May. It's been running for 11 years now. And we offer a whole programme of walks and some bike rides around this wonderful area of outstanding natural beauty.
And it is the only area of outstanding natural beauty for ages, isn't it?
It's the only one in the East Midlands, yes, very special. It's been recognised for over 40 years as being an important natural place, and we try to highlight that, really.
Now, when is the festival and how can people get involved?
It starts on Saturday the 16th of May, and it runs for 2 weeks and concludes on the 31st of May at a place called Poacher's Hideaway. And if you want to find out about it, you can go to our website, which is www.woldswalkingfestival.co.uk, or you can ring us on 01507 609 740 and we can send you a copy of the brochure.
Excellent. Now, what it consists of is a series or a number of walks around the Wolds in those dates which have been worked out and planned and guided in some cases.
Yes, they're all guided walks. The beauty of it is that whether it's a 1 mile amble around a local town or it's a 25-mile stomp along the Viking Way, somebody will be in charge and you just have to pitch up, dressed for the walk, ready to go, and then someone's looking after you so that you're in good hands, basically.
Does it cost anything?
Some of the walks charge, some of them ask for donations, most of the walks are free.
And there are various different themes or characteristics or features to these walks, aren't there? And some of them are just very beautiful, of course, can't avoid being very beautiful in the Wolds. But there are historically themed walks?
Yes, some people like to just get out there and walk, but we have a lot of heritage-based walks, we have lots of family activities, lots of walks have food attached, finish at pubs, all those important things.
Excellent.
So yes, it's about experience, and also you get to meet lots of people along the way too, make new friends.
Well, make new friends. I mean, even more than that, in the case of one of them, you've got a speed dating walk?
Yes, we had a speed dating walk last year. It was really successful. I led the walk, and I'm doing it again this year, and the noise was incredible of people yakking to each other, having a fine old time. And we did have some achievement, no names in a pack drill, but some people did make very close friendships.
When you say achievement, do you mean sort of a shaking in the bushes and the hedgerows?
No, not quite that.
Or do you mean a longer term achievement?
People were exchanging phone numbers and going off and made contact afterwards.
Right,
so some new friendships were formed.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm hoping to get some more people booked on. Well, we have got more people booked on for this year and looking for more.
Okay.
Yep.
Walking for romance sounds absolutely fantastic. The history themed ones as well, though. You've got you found a caveman.
Yes. Yes. Our launch at Welton le Wold this coming Saturday is in a really important prehistoric site. It's a SSSI site of special site of scientific special interest.
Right.
I put a lot of S's in there,
Excellent.
didn't I? And a fantastic prehistoric reenactor is turning up in skins. So he's going to be acting out being a caveman.
Right. I have some images of Terry Thomas, not Terry Thomas, Terry, whoever it was in Carry On Cleo. It's going to be knocking women over the head and dragging them back to their caves, is it?
Hadn't thought.
Well, that sounds a little retro, going too far there. Nikki, don't go away. We'll come back and talk to some of these other walks as well after this, but don't go away. Let's go over now to Louth and Dr. Paul Hill for his reflections.
Easter Day has gone and the Easter bunny eaten, but Christ remains risen. And that thought can come in for some incredulity these days. Give us a break, folks will say. Dead men don't get up and walk. But such crude spookiness hardly captures what serious Christians mean when they talk of the risen Christ. Those first Christians certainly didn't see a zombie complete with glazed eyes and outstretched arms. That's Hollywood, not the Christian vision. What they saw was truth. Truth about life itself. Life shown as pure, shining and radiant, and not subject to decay and death as we experience it now. And why accept that as deep truth rather than profound illusion? Well, the answer lies, I feel, in the transformative power of the resurrection. Firstly, it transformed a bunch of frightened disciples into a fearless host who were burning to get out their stories. Now, I know that illusion can have its power too, but frankly, I believe that the transformative power of the resurrection has too great a track record over 2,000 years of church history, possibly to be based upon what must have been, if it was an illusion, the greatest illusion in human history. And I believe that it can transform the rest of us too.
Nikki Jarvis is still with me talking about the walks through the Wolds. Another historical one that particularly caught my eye, the Stephen Langton Walk.
Yes, well, you may have heard that we're celebrating 800 years of the signing of the sealing of the Magna Carta, not signing, and a fantastic new walk has been created by Hugh Marrows for Lincolnshire County Council, and we're leading a guided version of this on Thursday the 28th of May. In fact, the pre-walk is being done today, just checking everything is as it should be, and people will be starting off from Langton by Rugby, near Rugby, and walking all the way to Lincoln Castle, 16.5 miles.
And who was Stephen Langton and what was his connection to Magna Carta or to Lincolnshire?
Well, he was extraordinary. He was born in Langton by Rugby, this Stephen Langton, and ultimately he became Archbishop of Canterbury. So that's an extraordinary move from a little place in Lincolnshire. But he was directly involved in the writing of the Magna Carta. Which is amazing and it's very special.
He was one of the sort of diplomatic brokers that got the king and the barons together. Yeah. Incidentally, where did King John sign the Magna Carta? On the dotted line. Other walks, forgive me, other walks, especially children-friendly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The second week of the festival is in half term, and we have a whole host of activities, stream dipping, horrible history walks, storytelling in the woods, lots of different things happening, and yeah, plenty for people to do.
What is stream dipping?
Oh well, there's an organisation called the Lincolnshire Wolds Chalk Streams Partnership, and they look after the chalk streams which are part of the natural landscape in the Wolds, and they like to take people out with their wellies on to investigate the fantastic natural wildlife that's inhabiting those watercourses.
And these chalk streams are unique to Lincolnshire, aren't they? They don't appear anywhere else.
Unique to Chalkstone, so there might be other bits, but we don't talk about them.
Okay, well they're very much a characteristic of Lincolnshire, and that's where you need to come. So you've got children coming along, and there's this arrangement whereby you have public transport to get to the beginning of the walk, so that you can walk back to your own cars. Is that the form?
No, lots of the walks are circular, so you can just pitch up. Where we do have a linear walk, we either use public transport or we've got laid on minibus for one of our big walks as well.
Okay. And walking is, we're told by medical people, incredibly important and incredibly healthy.
Yes, and it's not just about your heart rate, it's actually about being in the natural world, it's about sometimes sharing with other people, offloading, sharing issues and concerns and having a good old chat. But it's, yes, absolutely. Ramblers work with Macmillan Cancer Care, for instance, because they jointly recognise the valuable benefits. So just getting off the sofa and out into the natural world on a guided walk where someone's looking out for you too, it's got a lot to offer.
And how have you selected these walks? What's particularly special about these? What is it? You've got more than well, how many of them?
107 events,
107.
But 7 of those are bike rides.
I hesitated because I couldn't believe it was that high a number, but 107 walks.
And they're all run by volunteers. So it's people who contact us with a proposal, and they're responsible for developing the walk, providing information to us, but they're all good, experienced walk leaders.
You've got some sponsorship, you should probably mention that.
Absolutely, we're delighted. We've got corporate sponsorship this year. Running International, based in Lincoln, have supported us very strongly. And Style Furniture in Fotherby and Stoughton Estates.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much for coming in. Appropriate enough, talking about walking, Lingard's Lincolnshire Rambles is one of our most popular programmes, quite rightly, and so, by popular demand, a new series comes to our screens soon. Emma's going to be here to tell us a little bit more about it in a moment, but first of all, let's take a look at what she's done and where she's been.
The Lincolnshire Wolds and its rich history are prime for exploring, and there's one person who loves to ramble. Join me, Emma Lingard, for a new series of Lingard's Lincolnshire Rambles as I explore villages and meet new people.
Beautiful, sunny but very windy day out here in Nettleton.
Starts Friday, May the 15th on Estuary TV at 8 p.m.
Emma, that looks absolutely beautiful. Did you have a good time?
It was. That particular clip with me in Nettleton on that open hillside was blooming cold. I can tell you, it was freezing. It was a very, very windy day in spring, and I met Stuart after having previously done a walk with him, a guided walk that he'd done for the Heritage Open weekend about Nettleton Mines, and we went there. But it's a very, very open place. If you've ever been on top of Nettleton Top, it's so open and windy, but fabulous views.
Beautiful.
Very fabulous.
When will the new series be broadcast?
This Friday at 8 o'clock, and there's 5 episodes that we've managed to do. We obviously last year did Horncastle, which was the pilot. And you know, we've been out there filming throughout the year, I have to add, so you may see me go from the hot delights of summer right through to the cold of winter. My hair changes constantly.
Oh, well, we don't need that sort of consistency. Let's take a little look at one of those rambles now.
The Romans not only left behind walls, but during excavations for the supermarket, a cemetery was unearthed. The team unearthed 74 sets of human skeletal remains and had them reinterred. They were Christian, which dated the site to the late Roman period. One story connected to the Roman town of Caister is that of Simon the Zealot, aka Lazarus, the man said to have been Jesus' brother-in-law and the man he raised from the dead. In 61 AD, it's believed Lazarus was crucified here in Caister by the Romans. Now, what truth there is in that story, no one really knows, but there is evidence out there which suggests he was here and he was crucified, and he requested for his remains to be shipped to France to be buried with his sister, Mary Magdalene.
You look absolutely freezing there.
That was a cold day.
I love the hat. But it is very much part of the rambles is telling those stories, the history and the folklore and all that, isn't it? That's what's so fascinating about it.
It is, and obviously in that particular episode, that was me talking about Lazarus. Now, you trying to say that name constantly on a very cold day. I don't know how many times I had to do that. But yeah, I mean, you know, you go to these towns and these villages and it is uncovering that wealth of information about them.
I'm just getting information from my ear that you took 5 takes
to
say that.
You know, the cameraman's telling you.
Yes, everybody else was very cold that day as well.
Oh, it was the poor dog. I mean, every shot you see that poor dog being dragged around.
Well, I want to ask about the dog. Who is this wonderful 4-legged companion of yours?
That is Will. He's a lurcher, and he is. I've never had a dog who is so loyal. I mean, Tom and I, when we were filming it, we stopped off for refreshments. The dog just jumps on my knee because he wants cuddles, you know, and this is what it's like. But he's great. He loves the camera. He's very good.
Natural. Let's have another little. That was Caister we just looked at. Let's have a look at another one.
Ticklepenny and Willow's Lock are both Grade 2 listed and were designed by John Grundy. They're unusual for locks as they've 4 concave curves, which was to prevent the earth behind from slipping forward. And as we approach Elvingham, you'll notice it's unique in that it has 2 churches in one churchyard, and it can be reached either via the farmyard or from the canal towpath.
And that's starting off in Louth, obviously more of our beautiful chalk streams, which I think are unique to Lincolnshire, I insist. You start off in Louth in the series and then you walk along the navigation. What's next?
That was brilliant, that one. We started off in Louth and caught up with a few people in there, followed the canal, and we end up at Humberston Fitters. That's a two-part of that particular one. So then we ended up, that particular shot where you saw me ending over the bridge was going to Alvingham, which has 2 churches, and then I carry on to Tetney.
Should we have one more little look at
You
another
can,
one?
yes, yeah.
This part of the canal was the most hazardous, for entry was from the sea into the tranquillity of the haven. The buildings here all hark back to those days when the lock was a bustling hive of industry. There were at least 2 pubs, the Ship Inn and the Crown and Anchor, but only the latter survives. One field in the area is named Catchgarth, the field where the Danes allegedly landed and left their ships, and we'll learn more about what they did in the village later.
Emma, thank you very much. I wanted to show those clips just to prove that you already have made it and you're just going to do it at the last minute. Just remind us, when's it going out?
Friday, 15th of May, 8 p.m. for the next 5 weeks.
And so
more on our website about that as well.
And we'll be exploring the most beautiful parts of Lincolnshire.
Oh, yeah.
Emma, thank you very much for coming on. Look forward to watching that. Now it's time to go over to Dan Kemp for the sport.
Hull City's Premier League future looks in peril after the slide slipped to defeat against the league's bottom club. The Tigers lost 1-0 to a Danny Ings second-half strike to cut the side 2 points adrift of safety. Despite the win for the Clarets, Burnley were relegated from the division at full-time after Sunderland, Leicester and Aston Villa all won. Queen's Park Rangers lost 6-0 at Manchester City on Sunday, meaning they'll also be in the Championship next year. Hull FC secured victory in the last 2 seconds of their Super League clash with the Warrington Wolves. The Wolves looked comfortable after stretching out to a 26-16 lead midway through the second period, but Mark Minicello and Tom Lynham tries brought the Black and Whites back into it before Mark Sneed kicked the last-minute drop goal winner. FC have now moved up to 8th. In cricket and the Yorkshire Premier League, the early leaders Barnsley kept their hold on the top, beating Driffield. The East Yorkshire side were bowled out for 119 after Barnsley scored 259 for 8. Appleby Frodingham had a comfortable victory over Sheffield Collegiate, bowling them out for 128 despite 58 from Bill Root, brother of Joe. An unbeaten 62 from Duncan Heath saw the Scunthorpe side home by 4 wickets. An opening stand of 151 between Dave Barrick and Tom Appleyard enabled Hull to a 228 for 9 against Rotherham. Their opening pair went even better as they put together a stand of 186 before losing their only wicket and passing the target with overs to spare. And Cleethorpes' tale of woe continued at Castleford, where they were bowled out for just 130 to score the home side past with only 6 wickets down. Get in touch if you've got any sports stories you want to share with us. You can call 01472 31 553, email sport@estuary.tv or find us on Facebook or Twitter. And that's all for the sport.
That's it. Usual contacts. Good evening.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Breezy with sunny intervals through the day. There may be a few sharp showers, particularly in the north, although many places would remain dry on Tuesday. Maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, dry and bright with sunny spells and some light winds.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.